When Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva was practicing the profound prana-paramita, he illuminated the 5 skandhas and saw that they were all empty and crossed over all suffering and affliction. Shariputra, form is not different from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Form itself is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Sensation, conception, synthesis, and discrimination are also such as this. Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are neither created nor destroyed, neither defiled nor pure, and they neither increase nor diminish. This is because in emptiness there is no form, sensation, conception, synthesis, or discrimination. There are no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or thoughts. There are no forms, sounds, scents, tastes, sensations, or dharmas. There is no field of vision, and there is no realm of thoughts. There is no ignorance, nor elimination of ignorance, even up to and including no old age and death, nor elimination of old age and death. There is no suffering, its accumulation, its elimination, or a path. There is no understanding and no attaining. Because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on prana-paramita, and their minds have no obstructions. Since there are no obstructions, they have no fears. Because they are detached from backward stream thinking, their final result is nirvana. Because all Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on prana-paramita, they attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prana-paramita is a great spiritual mantra, a great, brilliant mantra, an unsurpassed mantra, and an unequaled mantra. The prana-paramita mantra is spoken because it can truly remove all afflictions. The mantra is spoken thusly: gatte, gatte, paragatte, parasamgatte, bodhi, svaha. This is the great Prana-paramita Hridaya Sutra, also known as the Heart Sutra, a foundational work of Mahayana Buddhist philosophy. It is also somewhat controversial in academic circles because it goes against some of the Buddha's early teachings about the path to liberation and the importance of discernment and wisdom in attaining it. The origins of the Heart Sutra are shrouded in mystery. No one knows exactly when it appeared in the canon of Buddhist sutras. The earliest copies of the Heart Sutra date from the 7th century of the Common Era. It does not exist in the Pali Tripitaka, the classical 3 baskets of Nikaya, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. These date from the 1st century before the Common Era. No form, no emptiness, no ignorance, no elimination of ignorance, no understanding, no attaining. This view represents a kind of non-dualism that the Buddha never taught. He entered into dialogues with Brahmin philosophers of the time who saw the universe as comprising the Atman, the universal soul, which humans strive to merge with at the end of their cycles of reincarnation. The Buddha taught rather that the soul or self was comprised of the 5 aggregates and constituted an illusion, each aggregate bearing the mark of impermanence, suffering, and selflessness. Bhikkhu Bodhi is a Theravada scholar and an expert on the early sutras. He explains it this way. Using the Heart Sutra as an example, Mahayana schools claim that there is no difference between samsara, the wandering of the human condition, and nirvana, the state of enlightenment. Conventional dualities like ignorance and enlightenment are denied because the ultimate nature of all phenomena in the Mahayana view is emptiness, shunyata, and because of this, all apparently opposed realities finally coincide in their view with the idea that all dharmas have one nature, which is no nature. The Buddha's original teachings, on the other hand, emphasize the very clear differences between the delusion, greed, and hatred of samsara, the present human existence, and the release of nibbana, the state of the unconditioned, where the delusions and the suffering of humanity are extinguished in the act of liberation. What the Buddha offers in contrast to a non-dual universe are the actuality of the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha teaches wisdom is vital for knowing of things as they really are. This is expressed in the sutras with the $10 word, Yatabutta Nanadasana, the actuality of things. The Buddha taught us to investigate and discern reality for what it is. Dukkha, anatta, anicca, unsatisfactory, selfless, and impermanent. Is there no difference between samsara and nirvana, like the Heart Sutra describes? Perhaps what is happening here is a multiplicity of perspective. The Buddha expressly taught the reality of suffering and how to end it. Like many issues, he never actually answered questions about what existence in nirvana would be like. Maybe if we become enlightened, then we will know. And perhaps then we will be able to see the lack or maybe the insignificance of the differences between them. We know that nirvana isn't a physical place other than different than samsara, and that the difference between them only exists in our minds. The Hindu philosopher Shankara used the analogy of the space within a closed jar. That space has always been one with all space. The separateness is just an illusion. What are the apparent takeaways from this divergence of opinion and worldviews? Here's what I think is going on. Back in the day, when the Buddhist adepts were attaining higher and higher levels of jhana, proceeding all the way up through the various attainments up into bodhisattvahood, they attain what is known as non-abiding nirvana, aparatistita nirvana, which allows them to return to normal existence from time to time in order to do what bodhisattvas are supposed to do, bring all beings to enlightenment. So, to say the least, these guys are totally blissed out by their experience of nirvana. They come back and they're kind of at a loss to explain to average folks like us what nirvana is like, because it is so beyond normal existence. So they use explanations like we find in the Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form, no ignorance, no elimination of ignorance. They're using words to try to explain something quite outside of the realm of human language. There is one issue to note here. The writers of the Heart Sutra, presumably, were bodhisattvas, not Buddhas. What that means is someone else taught them the way to enlightenment. They did not teach themselves. Only a Buddha could do that. The Buddha understood how to teach humans the way to enlightenment because he had to discover that way all by himself. What the Buddha wanted to do was to teach people how to attain nirvana, not explain to them with words and concepts what nirvana was. Maybe he thought such an effort would be a futility, or at least maybe not so helpful. These bodhisattvas certainly aren't wrong. They're just trying to explain the unexplainable. They were trying to use words to describe something no ordinary person had ever had any contact with. Do they fall short in their vision of pranaparamita, the perfection of wisdom? Maybe, but they get as close as anyone can get using the limited tools of language. David Loy is a Zen scholar and teacher. He explains the early Buddhist concept of enlightenment as experiencing the world in a new way, without the ego consciousness observing and balancing the once familiar world of material objects as we normally experience them. The evaporation of that separate consciousness, the self, requires a new explanation of what awareness even is. The awareness which was previously understood to be observing the world is now realized to be incorporated within it. No longer do I, as the center of consciousness, see something external. Rather, the self-luminous nature of the world stands revealed without an observer. So much to wrap your head around. What would awareness be like without the aggregates of clinging? The example of trying to explain color to a blind person comes to mind, but falls short in several ways. Until then, all we have is the path, the 8 steps to attaining liberation, and the chant, Gatte, Gatte, Paragatte, Parasamgatte, Bodhi, Svaha. Translates, beyond, beyond, beyond the beyond, even further beyond. Release.